Well, good morning. I'm trying to speak a little bit softly, and I hope I'm not too soft because I have one of our friends sleeping not far from where I am. Uh, in any case, the title of the video is Connecting with Old Friends. I'm now in Melbourne, Victoria, at the home of John Fernandez in one of the many sections of the city. Eilish drove over 2 hours to get me here from her place, a much longer drive than expected. Melbourne is huge, and we went through the center of the city to avoid toll roads that support the cabal. Of course, Peter is here with us, along with another of our friends from Swiss Indo days. We had a great discussion in the business on the way home from John's shop. We enjoyed a great meal with each other, with lots more discussion. Peter is truly a visionary. Perhaps I can get him to do another video with me, though he has not indicated that desire as yet. In any case, it's always great to connect with old friends, in this case, meeting them for the first time. I just wish I could remember everyone's name. I should have written them down. Indeed, hindsight, I didn't prepare the blurb until everybody else is asleep. As I said, I have one of our friends, and he's one of the ones that I just can. He's the one that came from Canberra with Peter, and he's asleep right just on the other side of the open doorway from where I am into the archway into the other room, and I don't want to disturb him. But we had amazing discussion. Uh, Peter has so much information, and he's gone through so many changes in his life in regard to diet and other things that he's had breakthrough areas in. And he's like me, he's not a traditional thinker. He's able, and I wish everyone was, but he's able to think outside the box. He's willing to challenge preconceived notions. If we all could do that, we could change the world quickly. How quickly we're going to be able to do that remains to be seen. But I enjoy listening to Peter and listening to the visions. And of course, the discussion was not just with Peter. All of us, John and others, were involved in the discussion. The meal was actually at John's, next door to John's. There are people that were involved in Swiss Indo also, and they prepared us a wonderful meal last night. And so we've had a good evening, and I didn't get to bed until later than I would have liked, quite honestly. Um, and here it is now. It's just past midnight where I'm at, and I think I was up till 10, and so I didn't even get yet 2 hours of sleep. Uh, and I, of course, will like I've been doing, go back to bed when I finish the video. One of the things that we've noticed, and that is how long it takes to upload a video here. And we had a discussion about that last night. And as I understand, Australia, the government makes the upload speed extremely slow to discourage people from making videos, uh, because it takes so long to upload them compared to, in fact, to the United States. I mean, I can't imagine if I had brought my old computer with the 4 gigabytes of RAM, how long it would take to upload. As it is, it's taking me uh, the better, probably the better part of an hour. I haven't timed it actually, but it takes me much longer than it did when I was in Florida. So in any case, I'm looking forward to a great weekend and meeting more people. I will have the opportunity, I guess, to speak in the Unity of Melbourne on Sunday morning briefly about my mothers for Mother's Day. And I have two mothers, of course, and I'll talk more about that in another video. I don't want to belabor that point now, but it's going to be an interesting weekend, and from here we'll actually go to Canberra, and I'll spend, I guess, 2 or 3 days with Peter before I come home. And I'm debating I probably will take a bus back, and then think about possibly getting another vehicle. But again, all of those things will have to be determined, and we'll see how things pan out. I'm really excited about going to Canberra, for example. I mean, as I've said before, Peter lives within eyesight of the Capitol building of Australia, um, and it's a very different country here. Their prices are so high on so many things, and the United States is being subsidized by the rest of the world, according to what some of the discussion was about. Um, Prices are cheaper in the United States because of being subsidized, because they're a small percentage of the world's population, but they control a major part of the total funding that's available, and it pulls that funding out of the pockets of people around the world in other countries, and even worse in third world countries, uh, where the people are impoverished and have to live in debt because the governments can basically take all the money and give it to the cabal. Folks, if there's ever a time that we need to wake up and to realize that the cabal is a network of criminals that are simply very undeveloped in their spirituality and willing to take advantage of others. They're psychopaths. I mean, literally, and we talked about that. They are literally psychopaths. But as Peter said, we all have a little bit of psychopath within us. And we're not going to heal the psychopaths that run the world if we're unwilling to look at the psychopathic elements that we each have within ourselves. And that concept is certainly interesting to me personally. I remember lots of times that I was a priest in different reincarnations or incarnations. However, I do remember one in which I was a priest that presided over human sacrifices. So I know that even I have the dark side, like everyone else, and I need to acknowledge that and forgive myself and move on. But it's really, really important that we acknowledge our sins. If we confess our sins, I remember learning a long time ago, God is faithful and just to forgive our sins, to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. And that's what we need to do, individually and collectively. We need to confess the areas that we have not only personally been involved in doing things wrong, but what we've been in agreement by not standing up. If we don't raise our voices, we are in agreement with those that commit crimes against humanity. And we must make it clear that by our example as well as our words, that's not a lifestyle that we choose. And we can, if we make those choices, we can change our lives and ultimately change the world. Thank you for listening to my talk about this connection, this immediate and first connection with some very wonderful and some longtime friends. Again, thank you. Namaste.